Hi, I'm Roula Bakis with Artemis Realty and Design, and we are in Westwood at a project we were working on that started out as a love it or list it. Obviously, they decided to love it, and that's where we're at right now.
I'm Chris Tenaglia with High Pace Construction, and we got hired by Roula and the owners to make their vision come to life. So if we're going to walk you through pretty much the start to finish of where we were before, you had a previous video of basically the start of the project, and now we're coming into where we talked about cutting the top of the roof off of the building and raising it all the way up to make it a cathedral ceiling. So really you could tell your design ideas and how it made this come to life.
So over time, this house was renovated many times over. And so architecturally, it had this sort of hodgepodge of design. And the vision was to unify all those architectural elements into one specific style. And that's kind of what's happened here. And you'll see, as Chris will explain through some of the structural things that we've done, adding in vaulted ceilings, keeping all the angles consistent, potentially redoing the outside of the house to make it consistent with the inside at the end. But you'll see all the new spaces that we've created and how they're going to unify the home to make it beautiful.
One of the challenges that we run into with a project like this is you're taking something that's old and something that other people put together, whether it was the homeowners or the construction team, and things aren't exactly the way that they look like on the plans, or when you open up a wall, it might not be exactly what you thought it was. So this house, when we opened up the walls here, the ceilings, the owners wanted to raise the first floor ceilings up by a couple of feet. So we had to figure out a way to make steps in there with the vestibule and also accommodate a full bathroom. Two large bedrooms with a couple of sconce lights, LED lights on the ceiling, double vanity, and be able to make all that work all by shrinking the ceiling downstairs as well and increasing the ceiling height. There's a lot of coordination that went involved with it, a lot of help from Artemis Realty and Roula to be able to walk us through on her vision and what's actually constructible. One of the issues that we ran into this site was the plans and everything that we had showed a ceiling that had a ceiling on it. And in the field, after we ordered all of our material, after we ordered everything, we had to increase the ceiling height due to lifting up the floor to make the ceiling below the same height that the owner wanted it, and then increasing the ceiling to a cathedral ceiling, which means we had to beef up the ridge line up on the top of the roof to 3 LVLs and run a 4x6 post all the way down to the basement and post it down to the concrete. So it's a lot of work, but we're finding a way to optimize most of the space in this build. So here we have 2 pocket doors that open up into a bathroom with a double vanity. You have a smart toilet and a shower valve, shower head, and then that brings it all the way up to the ceiling, so you have a full ceiling height. There's going to be zero chance for any fogging up any mirrors or anything. This is also going to have a door with 2 LED mirrors here that also have anti-defoggers on them. So we try to think of everything. Roula's team is incredibly sophisticated on when it comes to all the newest technology out. So all of our clients have the best of the best. Talk about your closets.
What's that?
Talk about your closets. Motion detectors.
What to say? Yeah. So a lot of the thought behind the design was how people flow in their space and how to make things more efficient and user-friendly. So some of the things that we are incorporating are motion-activated lights inside all of the closets. So there's no switches and things, but you just open them up and there you are.
So one of the problems with a construction site is that no matter how many times you clean it up, there's always a mess. So we decided to do this podcast right between the lunch break and with the guys. So at the end of the day, everything gets cleaned up, but all these wires, everything around here will be all cleaned at the end of each day. So we're going to take a walk across the catwalk into the master bedroom and bathroom, and you can see the changes we made there.
Do you go into this with a timeline of how long you can take?
Yes, so we provide a full schedule to the client on a few different occasions, and we update that as changes are being made or as things are going. But right now we are about 3.5 to 4 weeks ahead of schedule. So this was purely Artemis Realty's vision, this entire room. This used to be one huge bedroom with a smaller bathroom. and it was, like she said before, was very hodgepodge. So we tried to make it as user-friendly as possible and with a nice flow. And I'll let Roula talk about how she incorporated all of these different designs: laundry room, bathroom, closet, and had us open up everything.
So right now, originally the laundry room was downstairs in the basement, which meant 3 flights of stairs to get everybody's clothes up and down. So we brought the laundry room to the 2nd floor, where all the main living space will be for sleeping quarters. We were able to incorporate a really large walk-in closet, a nice, beautiful master bath that's going to have a wet room style shower. So the tub will be incorporated inside the shower area, an enclosed toilet area with a double vanity. And then on the other side, one of the options for her closet was whether she wanted to enter from her bedroom side on this side in the entry, or create a privacy sort of walkway into her bathroom and then allow the light to flood into her closet. So we decided to go with that option. We're incorporating a gas fireplace into her master bedroom and adjusting some of the lighting. And obviously we had to make some modifications to the ceiling and some existing beams that were there, which Chris has been integral in making it look like it was there from the very beginning. So it's going to look incredible when it's done. I'm really psyched about it.
So one kind of coordination that we had to do was the windows were originally a lot lower in this room. So we had to raise the windows up and center the bed. You can see our little center point right there on the wall. Center the bed in between these windows. And then there was also a window in the hallway, which we had to make larger. And when we made it larger and kept it the same height, homeowner walked by and said, "My neighbor's going to see us naked." So we had to lift up the window to match all the other existing windows. And now everything is proportionate. Like Roula said, it was always meant to be there, and it doesn't look like it was an addition or modifications happened. I know it looks like a mess right now, but the finished product will be totally unnoticeable.
Wow. Okay, so that's upstairs. We're now going to go down the ladder, and we're going to check out what's happening downstairs.
So we were upstairs, now we came downstairs. First things first was the staircase. On the other side of the house, if you remember from our last video, we deleted the staircase that was going to the basement, so we had to figure out how to get to the basement now. So we cut a big hole in the middle of the floor, which we had to put a staircase in, but then you don't realize what the previous builders or anybody else did, because some of the building plans were either not permitted or they weren't done properly at the city. So we found a steel beam, we found 200 amp electric wires, and a whole mess of wires that were going back to the circuit breaker panel, and we had to move all of that. Also 2 HVAC connections that were coming across. So the staircase that we originally designed wouldn't work. We had to come up with a different design to be able to still be able to connect the HVAC to come around for the downstairs. Also, we had to account for the additional steel beam and the head height. So if you look at the staircase, there was an extra 2 stairs that had to be down here, while we kept our code minimum width for each one of our landings. This staircase was relatively challenging for a multitude of different reasons. One was Roula and her team came up with this wonderful design, which is fantastic. It's going to come out very nice, but it was very challenging because they had open staircases and open stringers, which are they want to be painted black with single stair treads on top that are all custom made that we have to make in-house. They didn't want steel because it was completely out of the budget, and we had to come up with a different way. In order to be able to make the proper runs and be able to post it and structurally do it the right way, we had to come up with a design with a set of winders that would accommodate the head height downstairs and accommodate the head height for this catwalk as well. So once we're done with the stringers, you'll see an open staircase and with a bunch of LED lights on it, and it's going to look fantastic.
All right, let's go in here.
This is your dog wash station.
Yes. So my favorite part of this project, so this used to be sort of a makeshift mudroom. This is where the original staircase was that Chris's team took out, which is awesome. Makes this space so much larger. And so what we did is they have this beautiful big dog named Miso. So he's going to be in here taking his baths from now on. Wintertime, your dog comes in muddy, dog wash straight in, pup can go straight into the house.
That's cool.
there are a few things that we have to take into consideration when you make a change like that. You put in a dog wash station, which is the existing door. The existing door has a left-hand swing, and we'll swing right into the dog wash station, which kind of defeats the purpose because the dog has to walk all the way around. So we need to put a new door in with a right-hand swing to be able to swing open, and the dog can jump right into the wash and dry it off. We put a provision in with a 20-amp circuit so we can have a hair dryer, and we're here pampering dogs. This floor is going to be all demoed out, and we're putting all new tile in. Same thing, so when the dog does come in wet, doesn't have to destroy the floors. And then Roula and her team's grand vision of this gigantic kitchen is right here.
So as a transition from the mudroom into the kitchen, we did a small closet here that will have electrical for a wireless vacuum, and it'll be tucked away, easy to access for the kitchen, and then more storage here. Originally, the kitchen was set up right here as sort of a galley kitchen, and this was the dining room area. So what we've done is we've transitioned their old space of the kitchen into their pantry, a nice big pantry, which is kind of like, you know, the telltale sign of an amazingly functionable kitchen. And then in here, we're going to have a 5x8 oversized island with a secondary electrical oven. It'll have a prep sink and then overhang for 6 stools. The kitchen will start out with a large 42-inch refrigerator, go into a 36-inch range, and then it'll wrap all the way around. So you have a ton of counter space and a big, beautiful window right in front of your sink.
So one thing on the building side of it that you might be wondering where all the red hash marks are, that marks where the electrical outlets are. If anybody's done any building before, they've buried a wall outlet in the wall, and it's a nightmare trying to find it. You get a bunch of holes, and the perfect finish that you had before doesn't happen. So we always put the red marks on every single wall, whether it is 1 outlet, 2 outlets, a big fat one for a double one. That way everybody knows if there's an outlet that's there, and at the end, the finish is perfect. This kitchen, we also added in 2 skylights so we can have as much light as possible as natural light, as well as the huge windows that we put in right in front of the sink.
Nice. So
this was actually a bump out here.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that was not only to make the kitchen larger, but also to incorporate back in architecturally the angled ceiling that you see throughout the whole house and add more light.
Cool. And now the room that you took me around last time.
Yes.
So lead the way.
So there's your gas fireplace that's see-through the whole way through. The last time you were here, this was a completely rock fireplace. So we cemented over it, stuccoed over it, and plastered over it. So now it's a perfectly smooth finish. This is going to have a lime wash finish to it with the gas fireplace with birch logs. This used to be doors that were here. Roula and her team wanted an open floor concept to try to match and show the slanted roof for like the rest of the house. We had to talk to the structural engineer and design an LVL that would be able to handle the load of the entire side of the house and bring it up to the 9 feet that we wanted to be able to have a full open floor plan. What's going to happen with that ceiling and everything in this room?
So in this room, we're going to be hanging a beautiful large chandelier in the center. We're adding a dry bar in the back left-hand corner with brass shelving holders that will have glass shelves across it for the bar. And we're going to be painting the ceiling black just to give it a little bit of drama because you have all these windows, so you have a lot of light. And then what else are we doing?
So this floor was originally 12 inches down. So this was an addition on the house, and the floor dropped about 12 inches back there. This whole floor came down, so it was a little bit recessed, and it looked very awkward when you walked in. So now the floor is, we had to increase it about 12 inches up, and now it's one flat playing field across the whole floor. We're going to redo all the floors with white pine floors and change the stain from a very dark stain to a lighter stain to try to bring out all the natural light. One thing about this house and this whole rehab that we're doing is that it's still an occupied rehab. The owners are living in the basement. So it's incredibly, I wouldn't say difficult, but the coordination is integral, especially with Roula and her team being able to talk to the owners and being able to convey the message that there's going to be a lot of loud noises at 7, 6 in the morning. There's going to be a electrical shutdown, and being able to coordinate that with the owners without having things that happen right away. Sometimes mistakes happen where the power gets shut off. We're able to have kind of a buffer to soften the blow when something does happen and it interrupts their day.
Nice. Good work, guys.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see the next stage.
Awesome.
You want to sign off?
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you again. Name's Chris Tenaglia with High Pace Construction. You can reach out to us on our Instagram, our email, and our website.
And Roula Bakis with Artemis Realty, your Westwood specialist.